you have a special guest I see wandering around the concourse up there.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let's not dilly-dally around anymore. No. We got a great Yinzer, a great Italian, a great ball coach, and a man that has changed the mentality of an entire state about their football team. Ladies and gentlemen, Curt Cignetti.
Yeah. Thank you.
Coach, it's an honor.
Wow, that was a lot.
Yeah, how about the rain? I like that. We wouldn't have it any other way.
You're raining on our parade.
No. No, we're bringing adversity, which is exactly what I think you want and would love for your team. Let's talk about this year here real quick. And I've said this publicly a lot. I've said it to you, and you said, nah, we're not doing any congratulations. We're only halfway through the race, yada, yada, yada. You have flipped the entire mindset of an entire university and state about football. How does it feel to sit here? Big Noon Kickoff was here last week. Barstool was here last week. Game Day's here this week. What is your expectations going into a season, and was this it whenever you get the IU job?
Right. Well, all that stuff's contingent on winning, which we have obviously a big challenge tomorrow.
Certainly.
Correct? But, yeah, my expectations were high. First day on campus, we had 10 offensive starters in the transfer portal. In 3 weeks, we brought in 22 transfers. They were all 2-3-year starters. Okay, I really felt on December 20th we had flipped the roster. It was very optimistic. And the culture shift started in the winter with the strength training program in January. Spring ball was good. Summer was good. Fall camp was good. We had to put it on the field. So we got a blueprint, a plan, a process, the way we do things. Learned a lot from Coach Saban and my dad, obviously, too, who was a coach. But, when you prepare the right way and you have the right mindset and you're fundamentally sound in what you're teaching, there should be no self-imposed limitations. So, and I'd been through a turnaround like this kind of before when my second head coaching job at Elon, where they were worse historically than Indiana.
Was it 8-65 or 8? I forget the number. You gave the stat in a press conference.
I like to say they were 3-45, but they were 12-45.
3 sounds better.
Hey, you just sauce it up a little bit.
Yeah, why not? I mean, they had lost to the last place team in the league at home, their last game of the year, 47-7. So anyway, a lot of people there thought it was impossible, no chance. By then, I'd been a head coach 6 years, kind of knew what I was doing a little bit, right? We won 8 in a row.
No big deal.
Yeah, we lost to Toledo, who won the MAC in the opener, won 8 in a row. Now, so I equated this back in the winter, spring to that. Now, the difference between the two, all those wins went down to the last play. Here, we haven't trailed yet.
Yeah.
We haven't given up a point in the first quarter. I mean, you talk about handling adversity. We really haven't had any adversity.
Yeah.
Now, it's coming. It has to. Right? But, I think they made a movie once, Build It and They Will Come.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
And
Hell yeah. Dreams.
Yeah, and here we are. And this is a natural process. Win, belief, success, fan support. And we're sold out for the rest of the season. And it was crazy here last week. And like you said, Big Noon Kickoff, College Game Day. But, our guys in our organization have to stay focused on the things they're going to help prepare them to be the best they can be tomorrow, to give themselves the best chance.
Okay, so I appreciate the fact that you're old school, right? You're an old school coach, and you've been coaching a long time, but you have the respect of this new generation of guys. And you say you get, 3+ year starters, 2+ year starters in here, flip the culture, flip the mindset. I had a chance to talk to a few of your players here earlier today, and I said, halftime, what's SIG like? And they're like, last week, we're up against Nebraska. He comes in and tells us, we didn't do shit. We have not done absolutely anything. It's like the mindset that you are trying to portray is radiating through your players. They say the identity of a team is normally the identity of the coach. Do you feel like these are your guys? It feels like it, right? And how quickly did you know that these guys were your type of guys? Obviously, a lot of guys from JMU, but a lot of other places as well.
Right. Well, we recruit a certain kind of guy. And when you take that many portal guys, right, they were all 2 to 3 year starters, production, overtime, high character guys that had stayed on the field, right? Knew how to overcome success, not be affected by success, overcome failure, persistent, right? Had the right stuff. So we had a lot of those kind of guys, a lot of good leaders. My job as a leader then is to develop them, right? Recruiting, development, retention, and create the culture, the mindset, the identity. Yeah, and you really start to see it develop. I thought in the opener, we flew around on defense the whole game. Offense, we started fast, didn't play good last quarter and a half, had a couple sacks, penalties, got behind the chains. Second game wasn't against a good team, but we really played well. And then went out to UCLA, and you just saw things build after that. And then, like the first game, we had a nice crowd, 40-some thousand. Come out second half, like half people were going.
What are we doing?
What's going on here?
What are we doing?
Fair weather.
Yeah.
No, not fair weather.
Well, in that moment,
No.
in that moment, they were.
When you take over a program, to keep it simple, you got to change the way people think, inside and outside. But you got to have the results. So now we're selling out. They're here the whole time, and but we got to play tomorrow.
These are football people. They love their basketball, obviously. Always will. I've said this a couple times over the last few weeks. Basketball Hall of Fame, I think, is in Indiana. Indiana's been a basketball state for a long time. Bobby Knight kind of instilled it in everybody here. But deep down in their soul, Indiana people are football people, too. And they became Colts fans, obviously, when Peyton comes here. What you did is you woke up a sleeping giant, I think. And I think the world is going to see it tomorrow on game day. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, speaking of game day and all the stuff that happened last week, Pat mentioned, how do you block that out when it comes to addressing the team? Is it one of those things where, hey, yeah, sure, big noon and game day, they're coming to the city, but we don't care about that shit? Or how do you get them to focus in? Because I assume with social media, everything going on, it's hard to keep all those guys locked in on, playing the football game, practicing every day, being, watching film, doing all those things.
Yeah, well, I took my notes from last year a little bit, and I brought it up Monday, and I got an older group, mature group of guys that have been around the block once or twice. So, but I didn't dwell on it throughout the week in terms of what's going on here on campus, because I don't want to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Our guys know what they got to focus in on. My job and the assistant coach's job is to make sure they do, and the practices have been good.
Before the boys back in the Thunderdome, about an hour and 20 minutes north of here, hour and 15 minutes north of here, have questions. Let's talk about backup quarterback. Indiana guy, obviously had a couple starts last year, gets a chance to come in the second half last week against Nebraska, and you let him fly. First 6 plays, I think he's throws for 2 touchdowns. What are your expectations for Jackson tomorrow, and is he the perfect guy to kind of fill in for what Curtis Rourke has been able to do this far?
Oh, he's a real talented guy. He's got arm talent, and he can run. And he's got good size. And, we've historically done a really good job with quarterbacks. Last 4 have been player of the year in the league. So found out at halftime that Curtis wouldn't return, and the team rallied around Taven. Everybody believes in Taven. And now he's had more reps to prepare himself better, for this game. And, he's good. He's a good player, and everybody believes in him.
Yeah, the Curtis Rourke got surgery on Monday, I guess, on his thumb. They're saying he could be a return as soon as next week, maybe the week after. Big one for Jackson. AJ, back in the Thunderdome, has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, I feel like now with, starting out 7-0 and changing everything in Indiana so quickly, now it's like managing expectations. Now, like, the standard is set so high. Is now where you guys, like, you truly see what team you have because you got out this hot start and everyone kind of expects you to win now?
Well, we don't quite look at things like you guys do.
It's probably good.
We got
probably a good thing.
We got good eyes. We look at things good.
We approach every week the same, regardless of who we're playing and what our record is, because, what it takes to be successful doesn't change. If it changed from one opponent to the next, and there was a better way, well, then you'd be doing it that way all the time. So I think the key to the drill here is staying humble and hungry, eliminating the noise and the clutter, understand who you are and who you're not, and the things that have made you successful. And you got to put the time and the effort in on your preparation to give yourself the best chance. Or, next week's news is going to be what happens on Saturday. So you may be a hero this week or the past 6 or 7. You'd be a bum next week.
Yes, absolutely. And you're the only coach that would stand out here in the rain with us.
Yeah, great.
In the entire, you're the only undefeated coach, certainly, that would stand out here in the rain with us. I want to let you know.
Well, I grew up in Pittsburgh, and but I spent 6 years in Indiana, PA, and I'm used to clouds and rain.
IUP, obviously, a lot of time. Speaking of that, Tone Diggs, Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh Paisan, has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach. Elijah Surratt leads you guys in receiving. Tyson Lawton leads you guys in rushing touchdowns with 8. Aiden Fisher leads you guys in tackles. Mikael Kamara leads you guys in sacks. All those guys from JMU. They've all produced for you at IU. How did you know which JMU guys to bring over? Because I assume there was a lot that wanted to come with you.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we told quite a few no. And this, you know, I got hired. It was a 3-day process, told the team, and never did it enter my mind that some of these guys would come. But, you know, it happened kind of right away, and that was a close-knit group. They'd won 5 championships. They were close. They were close with the coaches, believed in the program. Plus, think about it. These guys had a chip on their shoulder. They're sitting around, why wasn't I recruited by Virginia Tech? They had something to prove. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how did
you too, by the way? Why didn't I get a job one of these schools?
Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way.
Absolutely.
And you know, when my wife and I, Minette, talked about the job, whether to go or not, I said, look, I feel like I've done this thing a couple times before. It's just a little bigger stage. But in terms of how we all decided who to bring, I mean, you know who your best players are. You want to bring the guys that we had a lot of holes and a lot of needs. You know, you want to bring guys that can help you win that have strong character.
10 starters transferring out on the offensive side. I couldn't even imagine. Also on the defensive side, Ty Schmidt, Iowa Hawkeye fan, has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach. I mean, I'll be honest. Indiana doing what they're doing in the Big Ten right now, I think all Big Ten fans are kind of shocked. But obviously,
say it, Ty. Say what you want to say. He's right here, bub.
A little scared?
Say it, Ty.
I'm not going to say. I mean, Iowa looks like shit so far this year. So I'm glad Indiana's not on the schedule.
Say what you want to say about Indiana. Say what you want to say about Indiana, though, Ty. Just say it. Don't beat around the bush. Just Curt Cignetti.
Well, I did say, hey, this is your grandfather's Big Ten. Okay, this is Curt Cignetti's Big Ten. Now, I did say that before he came on the show, but Coach, I am
CIG-TEN, the CIG-TEN.
Coach, I am curious.
Print them.
You talked about not really having adversity because you guys pretty much have beaten the shit out of everyone you've played thus far. As we get deeper into this Big Ten schedule, is there really anything you can do to kind of prepare your team or simulate like the adversity that you might face in a couple of these like potential close games down the stretch, or is it kind of just something where you have to take that head on when it happens in game?
No, the way we approach, we're very process-oriented, one play at a time, 6 seconds a play. Every play's got a life and a history of its own, fast, physical, relentless. Smart, disciplined, poised, not affected by success or failure. On to the next play, right?
Of course.
If you buy into that, right, the circumstances of the game don't dictate your behavior or your play. So, now, like you said, we haven't been behind yet. But, you know, we've bought into that style of play. And I've had teams, our first Sun Belt Conference game at App State, after they beat A&M, we go on the road, it's sold out. They're up 28-3 in the second quarter. Our guys never flinched, no anxiety, frustration, turn the momentum, win the game. So, you know, how are you going to respond when you're down 2 scores, 3 scores? I prepare them for that with my messaging in the winter, spring ball, fall camp. You know, at some point you're going to be behind. No big deal. I mean, the only thing that counts is where you are at the end. And, you know, and that's why I keep pedal to the metal when we're up.
Absolutely.
Because in this game, you can score points in bunches.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Things happen.
Yes.
So that's why, you know, like you get up, like if you're going to preach high standards, right, expectations, but consistency. High standards, never compromise your standards. You get what you demand, right? Then in the fourth quarter, when you're up 3-4 scores, you can't lower your standards because you're up 3 or 4 scores.
No! Step on them!
Yeah, that's when I'm like a maniac.
Yeah, I heard you went a little ape shit last week.
Yeah, but you know, I learned that from somebody. And
what was his name?
I can't remember. You know who.
Yeah, he's going to be here, I think, in about 25, 30 minutes.
But there's a reason for that. And at that time, I didn't understand that. Like, I learned so much from that guy. I learned how to win, right? I learned how to win. But I learned structure, organization. I could go on and on and on. And you got to commit to your standards regardless of the circumstances, correct?
Yeah.
And you can never lower them. The time to relax is at the end of the game. So great competitors, people that want to be great, never satisfied. Never. You're either improving or you're getting worse. You never stay the same. And if you're not striving, you're getting worse.
Yeah.
Because somebody else is.
Yeah, but when you're on that putting green at the house after a big-time win over Nebraska, you're having a good time.
Living.
When you're in that hot tub in the pool, you're having a good time.
Coos,
Big time.
countertop.
You got all these Italians, maybe a little mozzarella, maybe a little Parmesan, you know, any of that, prosciutto potentially, anything like that.
Gabagool.
That's when you're having fun. How many hours do you let yourself enjoy a dub?
24. I mean, I get home. You know, we normally have 10 to 15 people that have come in for the game.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
Party.
and
we know how it goes.
You know, chill out a little bit, and then I'll be in bed pretty early.
Yeah, smart. Yeah.
Wake up, in the office, usually 6 or 7 on Sunday.
6 or 7 on a Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Take a nap.
Watch ODK, right? Make a few notes, get on to the opponent, bring the staff in, and by 1 o'clock, we're on the next opponent.
DK, offense, defense, kicking game. Let's see what we did yesterday, and we'll continue to get after it. You knew that,
Yeah, of course.
obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah, you talk about standards. We got to walk around the facility earlier today. Jeff Keig gave us a great tour. Good guy. Been around like 25 years. Wanted to play baseball here, wasn't good enough. Instead, decided to booze. That guy
Had more fun.
That guy, Jeff Keig, maybe had more fun at a Little Five than anybody in the history of Indiana University. But he showed us around. Obviously, with success comes eyes and attention, but a potential opportunity to upgrade things too. Obviously, the locker room, great. Weight room is getting an upgrade, I think, as we speak. And then as soon as you guys got here, I think there was $1 million invested in the weight room and the strength staff and everything immediately upon arrival. What are your thoughts on Indiana, the facilities, and going forward at IU? Because obviously you have a lot more eyes, a lot more attention, a lot more opportunity too, it seems like, from that particular department.
Oh, yeah. We have good stuff here, and we have a great commitment from the administration. And I firmly believe any P4 program with the right commitment can be successful. And, when you do the right things in terms of the process, there's no self-imposed limitations on what you can get done. Our potential here is unlimited potential. And the country's taken notice, right?
Yes.
But, the areas that are important right now in terms of program success, we're sitting in a pretty nice place.
Yes, I would say we got to walk around.
Yeah, fantastic.
You got, and you don't know this because you weren't out here. I assume people have told you since the success that you've had. I've lived out here since 2009. Okay, pick 222. Never once have I heard anybody say something good about the football team. It's always like, here we go again. I married into a Hoosier family. Never. Football just not, we don't even talk about it anymore because we don't want to. Like, we just kind of move along. It was like forgotten about. And then now, 52,000 sold out for the rest of the time. We walked through the facility. People were excited to make it happen. The athletic director, obviously they've had high-performing athletics here with the basketball team. And soccer team, I think, is very, very good. So they know how to have a winner. I think they've just been waiting for a football team. And you're bringing it to them, man. You've done a lot of great things here very, very quickly. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, so keeping that going, obviously this year's awesome. You guys can go on and win the Big Ten and then go on and win the national championship.
What?
We all believe that. We all know
now
that.
hang the banner.
Okay, yeah, they've already picked out a spot. But when you're recruiting guys, you talk about your guys. When you bring them in here, do you put them through anything? Do you ask them specific questions? Do you have them hang out with the team to get their kind of vibe when it comes to recruits?
How do you know? Yeah.
Well, yeah, on official visits, they're here 2 nights, so they're with the team, and they're talking with academics and doing everything they got to do. But I think you form an impression of somebody fairly early, the first time you meet them, right?
Yeah.
It's not always correct, but a lot of times within the first minute and a half, 2 minutes, you got a decent idea.
Yeah.
And there's a certain kind of guy we're going to recruit, certain kind of guy we're not. Now, you got to have X amount of talent to be successful in this game, but there's a lot of good players out there. Then you got to develop them, and then you got to coach them, and then you got to form the intangibles on your team. And when you win, more doors are going to open for you. There's no doubt about it. Now, because we had to bring so many portal guys in last year, we're going to have to hit it hard again. Mm-hmm. But we're always going to recruit 15, 20 high school guys. We got about 20 commits right now, and that's the foundation of the house. So, can this keep growing? There's no doubt about it. And you got to be good in football, because across the country, almost 90% of athletic revenue comes from football.
Oh, yeah.
So football is a breadwinner. You got to be good in football. So you keep winning. Maybe we'll build up that side of the stadium. We'll get about 80,000 in here. What do you think?
A couple seats here, a couple seats here. Might slow down the wind too. Might be able to get some kickers and punters. Not that you guys don't already have great ones. AJ, obviously, Ohio State Buckeye, scared to death of Indiana, has a question for you.
I mean, you guys are legit, Coach, but you've mentioned you have no self-imposed limitations multiple times. Are people just scared to be great? Like, are they scared to go, reach out there and try to be great and to try to win everything?
Well, I know somebody wrote a book called Success is a Choice. And
Is that you?
No.
Who was it?
I think it was our friend that's going to be up here in a little bit.
I didn't know you. I've never read a book.
Oh, it's a great book.
Success is a Choice, Nick Saban?
I think that was the title.
Holy shit.
It was wrote a long time ago. Anyway.
It was a coach. A coach.
I think you consciously make that decision, and the price you're willing to pay, and develop the right discipline, how good you want to be. And then you got to understand, if you want to be different, like really, really good or great, then you got to have, you can't be normal. And you got to be willing to say no. Michael Jordan said, you got to be a little selfish to be the best. That means saying no, maybe to your friends, or doing things that you shouldn't be doing that aren't going to help you be the best you can be. And is it normal, like, to be a maniac in the fourth quarter when you're up 4 touchdowns? No, but that's what I got to be. So you got to pay the price, and if you stick to the process, anything can happen. It doesn't always happen when you want it to happen. Like, you look at my career, like, there's been a little bit of talk about that here recently. How, like,
we're just getting introduced. The world is just getting introduced to you.
Right. And you know what? My dad told me at a young age, you never want responsibility till you're ready for it. Now, we all think we're ready all the time, right?
Agreed.
Because we want it. So, beware of what you wish for. So, it happened a little later for me. And but I wouldn't trade my journey for any other journey in the world. It made me who I am and put me where I'm supposed to be.
Every stone was laid on a path that led you right to here. Standing with us.
Hell yeah.
Standing with Connor in the rain.
In Indiana.
Less than 24 hours away from college game day, coming to Indiana University for football. First time ever on a Saturday. You're doing great things. You're the best. Did you see down in your Players Lounge down there, they have a board about the best movie that's ever been created, and then there's voting. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Okay. Dark Knight. Got a lot of votes. Interstellar has a vote. Shawshank Redemption has some good votes. Yep. Dumb and Dumber, no votes, but it is up there.
Hannah Montana had 4 votes.
Yeah, you need to run them out.
Yeah.
You need to run them out.
Good movie.
Yeah, great movie.
But you didn't expect it.
From a Cignetti-led team, yeah, it didn't. But it feels like your guys, good bond, good culture. Can you feel they're tight?
There's no doubt about it.
Every team I've been on that's been good, tight.
Oh, you can't have a good team without that.
Agreed. It's like the major X factor of the great teams.
Yeah, everybody wants to make plays and have stats, but you got to thrive within your role. But everybody's got to be thinking about the same thing. The team being successful as good as it can be. And when the team's successful, you got more All-Americans, All-Conference guys, NFL draft choices, et cetera, et cetera.
You see. Do you ever sink the biz down there at Nick's? You ever stop by any of these spots? You ever go to the upstairs pub?
We went there one time, right, babe? I think we went there. But
you guys sink the biz a little bit over there, Nick's?
I don't think we did that.
Coach, you're allowed.
Fun game.
It's fun, Coach.
In the off season.
Probably a lot of those shirts right there.
Yeah. Hey, we need CIG-TEN jerseys. We need CIG-TEN shirts. Stat. Obviously, let's keep the Marlboro logo.
Yeah, maybe number 27 under it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Special plan.
Coach, we can't thank you enough, man, for the
pleasure.
We're going to enjoy the hell out of this. We're lucky to live in Indiana, So just an hour and 15-minute drive this morning was awesome. So let's keep doing this.
Rebel Ram.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's do this for the next 5-10 years, bub. Game day coming down here. You hold up your end of the bargain, and let me let you know, we'll hold up our end of the bargain too, talking about how great this is.
Okay.
Next 10 years. Yeah. Depending on how long I'm on game day, we need you to not do that. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the IU Hoosier football team, legend, Curt Cignetti. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.